My name is Paul Hardy. I work at Senior Core, the sister company to CareFamily, and I've worked in several different restaurants and a high-level home cook, I guess you could call it. You always need to take into account what your client's needs are. Some clients need extra calories. Some clients might be on a diabetic diet or a low salt diet. So that's one of the first things you need to take into account is where your client is coming from and what their specific needs are nutritionally. If your client needs extra calories, one way to add extra calories is you can add some extra butter to a meal. Oatmeal is a good place to hide extra calories. You can add some extra cream, extra sugar in there, extra butter. If your client needs extra calories, you can hide that in the food by just layering extra fat or extra carbs into that, depending on what it is they're trying to accomplish. Obviously, if they're on a diabetic diet, you want to increase the protein and have less carbohydrates in their intake. They usually do a lot more snacks during the day and that sort of thing. Also, if they're on a low salt diet, you want to look at the sodium that's in the products that you're using, and be keeping tabs on what it is, the amount of salt that you're putting into the food as well. Sure. Food time is a great opportunity to interact with your client. That's a good place to have them help you with any tasks, whether it's them, maybe sorting some beans while you're actually prepping the food, or depending on how advanced your client is, having them prep the food with you, alongside of you. It's a good place to generate conversation. It's a good place to just involve them in the meal. That would help someone who also might not have a lot of appetite to increase their appetite as well. If your client has special needs based on sodium or something like that, that's a good place to put extra flavor into your meal. You can add fresh herbs or even spice things up to kind of take away from the wanting more extra salt or needing extra salt in there. So layering your flavors is really going to help have a good meal, but also going to be able to help with some of your main issues you might be having with your client. Leftovers is always a good opportunity to make a good soup. If you have a lot of things sitting around, you can take those, layer your flavors that you've already incorporated into those, add them into your soup with some stock, some onions, and that's always going to turn into a good soup. If you have good things starting out, it's going to end up with a good soup at the end of the day as well. Some other things you can do is if you have a nice gravy or a nice sauce, that's a good place you can add extra vegetables or extra meat that will kind of incorporate into the dish that you already have going. You take a nice gravy and serve that over rice. You could add any leftover vegetables you have there, leftover meat, and it's going to be very flavorful, very, very tasty, and not look like leftovers at all.